The only thing better than homemade stuffing with sausage is my easy recipe for making gluten-free cornbread from scratch. I'm showing you how quickly and easily you can make my naturally sweetened cornbread into a delicious and savory stuffing. It's made with seasoned ground sausage, celery, garlic, and onion. My honey cornbread can be made and dried out ahead of time and honestly takes the stuffing flavor to another level. We're gonna start by prepping our ingredients, which includes 4 cloves of fresh garlic. I've already peeled my cloves, and then I'm just gonna put them in my stainless steel garlic press and then just give it a good squeeze. And out comes all this delicious, freshly minced garlic. Next, we'll want to finely dice our celery. So I'm just going to take 3 stalks of celery and cut off these ends, which I will snack on later. And then I'll just make a cut down the center of the celery, group them all together, and then finely dice. And not only do these add a delicious fresh flavor, but a very beautiful green color. I love having the onion flavor in my stuffing, but I find it kind of can promote some heartburn. So I have found that 1/4 of an onion is just the right amount. So I'm just going to take off the peel and then give it a nice fine dice. And to add some more fresh and delicious flavor, I'm going to finely chop some, starting to feel those onions. I promise I'm not getting emotional over this stuffing. So I have finely diced 2 tablespoons of fresh parsley. And now in a fry pan over medium to high heat, I'm going to pour in just a couple tablespoons of some light olive oil. We'll move that around in our pan. And I'll carefully start adding 1 pound of sausage. And you can use any variety that you like. And now that the sausage is beginning to brown, I'm going to go ahead and add in the onions and the celery and the fresh parsley, as well as our garlic. And then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of rosemary, 1 teaspoon of salt, help season that meat and bring out all those flavors, 1 teaspoon of sage, and then we'll go ahead and give those a good mix. And I'm also going to start breaking down the sausage into bite-sized pieces. And last but not least, a few dashes of pepper. And then we'll just let this continue to cook until our celery and our onions are soft and our sausage is cooked through. And in the meantime, just enjoy that delicious aroma. Well, all of our ingredients have reduced in size, and I can tell that the onions are nice and clear and the celery is soft and all of our meat is cooked through. So we can go ahead and turn off the heat. And then I'm going to use a large slotted spoon to transfer it all to a large mixing bowl. And using the slotted spoon will help drain off the excess liquid. And then we can go ahead and set this bowl aside. For the cornbread, you'll want to make 2 batches of my gluten-free sweet and savory cornbread recipe. After they're baked, you'll want to set them out on your counter until they cool and then place them in your fridge until they cool completely. This will help them stay together when you slice them. I find it works easiest to just slice it into 4ths and then cut them into thinner slices. Then I turn them on their side, cut them in half, and then into smaller cubes. Then spread them out on a large baking sheet covered with parchment paper. Then you can either let them sit out on your counter for 48 hours to dry naturally, or you can put them into a 300-degree oven for about 60 minutes or until they're nice and dry. After 2 days of sitting out on my counter, my cornbread is finally dry and ready to go into our stuffing. You can see how it reduced in size and how you get these beautiful golden cubes of cornbread. Now I'm going to use the parchment paper and hopefully very carefully pour it into my measuring cup. So 1 batch of cornbread makes about 4.5 to 5 cups of cubes. And then we can add these to our bowl. And then we want to add about 3 cups from our second batch, so that we're adding 8 cups of bread cubes. And I will repurpose these as croutons for my salads. Next, we want to prepare our liquid by adding 3 tablespoons of butter to a microwave-safe bowl. And we want this butter to be melted, so I'm going to throw it in my microwave for about 20 to 25 seconds. There we go, that looks perfect. And then we want to add 2 cups of chicken stock. And you want your chicken stock to be at least room temperature so it doesn't solidify your butter. And then as a binder for the stuffing, we're going to add 2 eggs. I've had these sitting out on my counter while I've been cooking everything else so that they're closer to room temperature. And then we'll just whisk these together until well combined. And then we simply pour this mixture all over our stuffing. And then I'm going to take a big spatula and give it a nice big stir, because we want all those ingredients to be well coated. And hopefully we keep the stuffing in the bowl. And before pouring it into our casserole dish, we want to make sure we spray it well with some non-stick. I'm just going to use some olive oil. And then we simply add in our stuffing. And then we'll stir it around. I like to go around and just press the ingredients down a little bit just so they can really infuse together. And then we can fluff it back up with a fork after it's cooked. Now the stuffing is ready to go into a 350-degree oven for about 40 minutes. Now to help the stuffing cook all the way through, but then also have that nice golden top, I'm going to put some foil over the top of it. I'm going to leave the foil on for the first 20 minutes and then I'll take it off for the remaining 20. Well, I just took the casserole out of the oven and it looks absolutely gorgeous. I had the aluminum foil on top for the first 20 minutes and then I took it off for the remaining 20, just so it could get a nice lightly golden brown color on top. Now I intentionally pressed it down a little bit before we put it in the oven, so now I can go through with my fork and just kind of lightly fluff it up a little. And that will make it look even more appetizing. Now it is time for a sample. Oh my goodness, that looks so good. And you can see down inside our baking dish that it's soaked up all of the liquid. Make sure it's not too hot. That tastes so good. Those flavors keep getting better and better. This is hands down the best stuffing recipe that I have ever tasted. As soon as you bite in, you just get this burst of flavor coming in from that golden cornbread, and it has just the perfect amount of sweetness coming in from the honey. And then you get that savoriness from the sausage and all of its seasonings. And then you get those soft vegetables with the celery and the onion. And it all just comes together in this delicious bite. And it has just the right moisture from the butter and the stock, so you could enjoy it as is, but it would also taste amazing with gravy. And the best part is that it's made with nutrient-dense, all-natural ingredients without any white flour or processed sugar. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today in my kitchen, and I've included a link in the video description below to the full recipe, which is on my website, gentletummy.com. And I also invite you to like and subscribe to my channel. And if you know someone else who you think would love to have this stuffing recipe, please share this video with them. And I cannot wait to have you join me again in my kitchen next time.